We have many teachers from different nationalities in our school, but what's really interesting is that many of our classroom teachers were actually students at Dandenong North Primary School. So there's probably a handful that I taught in my time, so it makes me feel a bit older.
So I am an ex-student of Dandenong North Primary School. I was here through prep all the way through to grade 6, and I went on to the local high school. Also, my dad was a student of Dandenong North Primary School, so we've been here now for 2 generations.
I just remember loving school. I remember coming here and having so much fun day in and day out. I remember feeling safe. It was my special place back then. When I finished teaching, I've always wanted to come back to my special place because I remember it in this, in this amazing light. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else. I had to come back here.
I had some of the fondest memories attending this primary school. It was always such a happy environment, and I had such caring and nurturing teachers around me from prep to grade 6.
It's a beautiful school. We connected the school. I personally connected the school. I know what it feels to be that little child that can't speak or has a family that is struggling. I know what's happening behind that smile. We feel home, and home is a comfortable place for us.
The teachers who come back with students here know exactly what the culture's about and what can be achieved at the school.
They know that back then they were given the support to become who they are today, given lots of opportunities, and they want to come back and give back.
I was fortunate enough to come to this school back in the 80s, and the fact that I've come back here, it's an opportunity for me to give back to the school and to the students to provide them with all the opportunities that I had here as a kid.
When I think about committing my life to something purposeful, I think about helping other young people find their place in the world.
It's so rewarding to come back and make a difference and know that I received a quality education and now I can give a quality education to others.
We need to make sure that we are giving back to our community because it's helping someone's life be better and making them be the best people that they can be.
I just love being back at Dandenong North Primary School. I love being back to where it all began, being back home.
When I first came to Dandenong North Primary School, it was pretty much blue-eyed, blonde-haired Aussies, and it changed fairly rapidly to now it's 91% non-English speaking background, which adds a rich mixture of cultures and a delightful blend of opportunities for children.
Dandenong's probably one of the largest multicultural areas in the world. I think we have probably 2/3 of the population were born in another country beside Australia.
Over 158 different nationalities, over 200 language groups, over 100 different faith communities here as well, and it makes us truly unique. Dandenong is always a first port of call, that safe haven for newly arrived communities, particularly those who have fled conflict and in many cases persecution and a range of challenges that people in this community have had to experience in order to get here.
So they come into the school or the Dandenong area specifically, having been traumatised by the trials of a war-torn country. There's the trauma of leaving family behind and resettling in a new place. And all of those things we need to understand when the children come into the school. And then you can add that other really complex layer of, I don't speak English.
They've been dropped on the doorstep in Dandenong to a degree, and they've come here with the hope that their children will have a great life.
If schools in our area fail, the result is that lives become tragedies. And that's an enormous responsibility we need to understand.
Well, education is something that I believe that our community's families truly value. because many of them never had the opportunity to have an education themselves, and they've seen the limitations that that brings into their own lives and the difficulties and the battles that it sometimes brings for them.
The parents have sacrificed a great deal so that their children will have a better life as they grow up.
And they come to our school looking for us help, looking for assistance, and we're lucky enough to be able to provide that assistance so they feel comfortable in Dandenong, but also feel comfortable at Dandenong North Primary School.
To know that those people arrive in Dandenong and this is their safe space, and this is their second chance, and this is their opportunity to carve out a new existence and a new life for their families and their children, and that those children then come through schools like DMPS and have a whole new world opened up to them is a remarkable, remarkable thing.
I didn't know what my heart was in for till you stepped into the room. And I didn't show, but I wanted to know everything I could about you. See, I was told the dreams were made to be.
I think when we talk about teaching, we have to define what we mean by that. So teaching, if you were talking about back in the days of the caveman, would have been to prepare civilization to be able to survive.
Teaching has been around since the day dot, from the beginning of time. If you look back and read through the history books, ancestors passed on different techniques, how to catch a fish.
Back in the days when we were hunters and gatherers, if you didn't teach somebody how you might track an animal or how you might cook your food so you didn't die of food poisoning, was a crucial skill. In earlier civilization times, it was teaching to survive. We had the ancient civilizations. They were teaching people a range of skills, it might have been through Socrates, with his lectures, and just imparting knowledge and getting people to think differently, questioning why things were as they were. And obviously the Egyptians were teaching. They had the hieroglyphics, so that they imparted knowledge and recorded what they were learning in a form of written language. Since humans have existed, there's always been some teaching going on. It's just that we've formalised it now to make sure that hopefully everybody has that opportunity to a common level of learning and knowledge.
And now, of course, we see education as being, or teaching being, this amazing tool that transforms the lives of children. And it is the great equalizer. It is the way in which a society can say, it doesn't matter what your wealth or background is, but we can see the potential in you and give you the power to build the kind of life you'd love to lead.
Teaching is about inspiring children. It's about giving them the belief that they can succeed. And I think we need to guide and assist our children to help them understand the knowledge that they need to have, to give them the behaviours, the strategies, so that when life comes about, they've got the opportunities to be who they want to be, become who they want to become, but also to be good citizens in life.
Education makes a huge difference. For me, it's the difference between war and peace. Education and knowledge is what helps bridge divides. It's what helps us better understand each other. It's what helps us better understand ourselves and our place in our environment. And it's ultimately what drives a healthier community and society. Ignorance is a very dangerous thing, and the only antidote to ignorance is education.
Education passes on the civilisation of a society.
School community, and then the community that you live in, and then it's the state that you live in, and the country, and then the world, and sort of all mini versions of each other. And if we can teach them how to live in that small community within the school and how to be good people, then we're doing our bit really for the whole world in the big picture.
I think the purpose of teaching is to teach young children lifelong skills, whether it's reading, writing, being able to participate in the real life world without the need of help of anybody else. That's what teachers are here to do.
You did all of that by yourself. Well done, you should be very proud of yourself.
to teach children to be independent and survive in the real world.
The reason why we teach is to provide children with opportunities. We want them to be engaged and active learners in order for them to fulfill their dreams and what they want to become in today's society.
Teaching is the act of inspiring a love for learning in others.
It's Lee in the cupboard. It's Kim we can't see. I wonder, now what can she be?
The goal should be to awaken a curiosity within students that will drive them in their pursuit for knowledge and success.
I think teaching is obviously at its core imparting knowledge and skills and passing that on to the next generation. So whether that be life skills or academic skills. Teaching to me is managing a classroom and ensuring that you're creating an environment for your students where they feel safe, they feel heard, they're wanting to learn, and most importantly are wanting to attend school every single day.
Based on these words that we have built together, you're going to go ahead and you're going to write a sentence.
Not only are we taking on the role of a teacher, we take on the role and responsibility sometimes as a parent, a psychologist, a friend, a nurse, an investigator, a problem solver, and the list is really endless.
Teaching or being a teacher is all about, shaping those young minds and allowing them to acquire this knowledge and virtue so they can take it all on board and then basically just do whatever they will with it and go forward to wherever it takes them.
If you have good teachers and you have a good school system, then you ultimately have a successful society where people end up doing what they enjoy and like, and then they will continue then to teach the next generations.
We need 4 groups with 7 counters in each. Try and draw this and let's see if you can work it out. We need 4 groups with 7 counters in each.
Education plays a massive role. Without it, there would be nothing to look forward to. There'd be no way of moving forward. It ensures us that we will stay on the right path. We are heading the right way and we're not going backwards.
Without education, you often get a lot of poverty. And poverty is not great for anybody. It's not great for the individual, the family, the community, the society. Education gives us a chance to overcome poverty and the difficulties associated with it, which then in turn, it builds a stronger society.
If there were no teachers or no educational facilities where people can go and learn, it creates quite a divided society. You've got people who have the opportunity, who might have parents that would be teaching them, providing them with so much more knowledge, and children who have absolutely no understanding of how to record their thoughts, how to express their thoughts, how to get a job. So I think particularly in a sophisticated society as ours, education has become more and more important.
Well, I can't imagine the world with no education because it would be chaos. You could look at some underdeveloped countries as examples where some groups of children are not allowed to go to school. Only privileged children are allowed to go to school. And what do you find is that the children, pretty soon they become prey to people who can exploit them by having them work for nearly nothing, or by having them steal things, or by having them transport drugs. And that's what does lead to chaos.
I imagine we'd end up looking like a society where we were lost in terms of understanding our responsibilities towards each other. I truly believe that we don't just teach kids English or mathematics, we teach them about their role in the world.
Oh, if there was no teachers, it'd be a terrible place. Teachers are the glue in our communities, and I've seen that more and more the longer I've been an elected representative. I see that teaching's more than just about offering a structured curriculum. Our teachers are the closest thing to parents that many of our students have. They are absolutely a part of that growth trajectory I think that young people experience, and that is something that stays with people their whole lives. I can look back on my own education and childhood and pinpoint a couple of teachers in particular that were highly influential in how I ended up and where I am now, but more than that, influential in shaping not only what I learned and how I learned, but how I felt about myself. In that sense, they shaped my ability to navigate life, and I think teachers do that each and every day.
Teach me how you fly so free.
The Weekend Australia commissioned the Grattan Institute to do a research project on disadvantaged schools. They analysed the NAPLAN data in the My School site. Any school that has an ICSIA, which is a measure of disadvantage, of 1,000 or below is considered to be disadvantaged. They found that there were just over 1,000 schools with ICSIAs below 1,000 across Australia, not just Victoria. And our ICSIA score was, I think, 940 at the time, so quite a significant disadvantage. And of those just over 1,000 schools, they identified 46 that were performing at or above national averages in literacy and numeracy. And of those 46, Dandenong North Primary School was number 1. Now that's just huge. Across Australia, we were the best in terms of defeating disadvantage. So the difference we make to the community of Dandenong is huge.
I think this school is unique in that it recognises every student as an individual and virtually wraps its arms around that child. There's so many programs here, not just for children who have difficulties learning, but for children who are bright and need to be extended. They're treated as individuals, their needs are treated as individual, and their learning is differentiated so that every one of them is being developed in their own potential seen. And they expect that of us.
As professionals, we encourage children to learn and try their hardest with every task that they attempt. We differentiate by catering to their individual learning needs, and we pose questions which are open-ended in order to challenge their thinking.
DNPS plays a massive role in a community like Dandenong. You know, these families have gone through a lot, and I think DNPS has shown these families that there is a better way. You know, there are better ways of living. There are better jobs out there that your child can obtain in the future.
I think at Dandenong North Primary School we're a team of very talented teachers, and we're a team of teachers who are really invested in our students and giving them the best education that they can have. We truly believe that every student can achieve, and we're in that privileged position to be their first experience in the school system, and we like knowing that they leave us with the best experience possible.
We understand the barriers that these children are facing. We understand that they need skills and a positive outlook on life in order to succeed in the future. So our philosophy is very much about setting them up for their future. When they enter the world as young adults or adults, that they know how to find themselves success. They also need the compassion and the love for other people to form connections and to build a community of their own. And that's why we have something called the 4 C's, and we try to instill that positivity and love within our students.
We developed what we called the self-esteem program to reward good behaviour, and we got rid of the rules. We had a list of rules about that long. We got rid of the rules, and we just had an overarching value system of care, courtesy, cooperation and common sense, and we could phrase everything in a positive way.
We don't need rules here because the students know that we just follow the 4 C's, and if you're doing that, you're on the right path.
Through the 4 C's at Dandenong North Primary School, what we are doing all the time is saying to them, learn a philosophy in life which makes you a good person, and understand the connection you have with others and the impact you can have in lifting those around you.
And at the core of it, it teaches them to be successful citizens who treat other people around them in a warm and respectful and kind manner.
It's always been like that. So even when I was a student, we always had those 4 C's, and the kids love it. The kids are driven by those sort of things. And I think that's why it's such a positive environment, is because you want to get better and better and better. And you want to be that kid that that student that the principal calls out on
on a Monday morning. You want to be able to be and being proud in front of your whole school.
You want to be courteous, you want to be kind and care for people. You have to have cooperation and obviously use your common sense. So I definitely believe that the values have stuck with us throughout our adulthood.
Like, I still live by the 4 Cs to this day. Like, it's really hard being at a different school and they don't have the 4 Cs, because in my mind they're the best rules to live by. If you just live by the 4 Cs, you can't really do anything wrong.
They've stuck with me throughout this entire time. They've played a massive, massive role in my life.
Now that I'm a mother, I apply the 4 Cs with my beautiful 3.5-year-old daughter. She has a very strong personality, and the 4 Cs work great. It's a beautiful little philosophy that you can take outside school and put it in any setting.
The success stories of past students are just huge at this school, and we're fortunate that children who've been at the school still feel connected enough to come back and tell us about the success stories.
They're really strong contributors to society. They're really smart trendsetters. They contributed to medicine and research, and they're engineers.
I think DMPS ultimately gives back to the Victorian community through a student base but loves learning and is in itself committed to doing something positive in our broader community. And that's been what's really impressed me about the young people that have come through DMPS, is that they have such a strong sense of community, such a strong sense of giving back. The fact that the school has invested such significant effort in getting young people to be empowered to be a part of a community is what ultimately serves all of us really well, because they're the young people that are out there at the front line in our hospitals, or becoming the next generation of educators themselves, understanding the challenges that they themselves experience. They're the next generation that are at the forefront of politics or construction, engineering, you name it. They're literally building our communities, and that's, I think, the best example of giving back that one could hope for out of a school.
We see all across this school teachers who are teaching here now because the school built them as students. And as students, they experienced what a powerful learning environment, what impact that can have on a child's life. And they've decided to return here as teachers and to pay that forward.
Now that's important to giving back, because half the job of acculturation in terms of an organisation is already done, because the teachers who come back with students here know exactly what the culture's about and what can be achieved at the school.
I think we have students returning to our school as teachers because of the family environment that we really try hard to develop here. We loved the feeling that we were part of the Dandenong North family, and now we want to be part of it in another way. We wanted to be teachers, and we're better to do it than our old school and give back what we were given when we were here. That seems to be the general answer that we get when we say, oh, it's lovely to see you back. Why did you want to apply for this job?
And they have the added advantage of being able to say to kids, well, I came here as a student and now I'm a teacher. And I think the momentum of that actually builds and expands people's expectations about themselves.
They're comfortable here, they know what we want, they know what we do, and they want to be part of giving back.
Good morning, grade 2s. Good morning, Miss Tresnjic.
I see a lot of myself in my students. I often see their insecurities, their struggles. I can see gaps in their learning or gaps in their confidence. And I just think about what I needed when I was that young. I think about how much my teachers were there for me to show me a different perspective, to build my understanding of myself as well as the curriculum that I was facing. The way that I give back to my students is first and foremost by making them feel comfortable and safe. My parents came to Australia in 1994 during the Bosnian War, and I was born in Australia when they arrived. As a student, I was very quiet and afraid, and I didn't know my place in the world. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And my teachers made me feel safe and like I belonged at school, like I belonged in their classrooms. I remember being really attached to my prep teacher. She was so beautiful and so soft-spoken and always smiling that I actually thought she was a princess. And I would call her princess.
Bye, princess. Princess?
Oh, wow!
See you later, little princess.
Okay, come on. So when I started looking into teaching and exploring that profession, I decided to volunteer at a school to gain some perspective. And I initially thought of my old primary school, Dandenong North, because I had that familial connection and comfort there already, even though I hadn't been back for many years. And as soon as I came back and started working in the school and with my old teachers and the students, I knew straight away that this was the profession for me.
What could we use to make this sentence more interesting?
Leo.
The amazing and clever.
Amazing and clever teacher brought her something dog to the class.
Funny dog.
The funny dog.
Jumpy.
The jumpy dog.
The energetic dog.
The energetic dog.
When I think about committing my life to something purposeful, I think about helping other young people find their place in the world.
And I want you talking to yourself in your head and saying it to yourself. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 5s are 20. So the more of your brain that is working, the better your memories are going to be.
I had a good time when I was at this school. I loved school. I had no issues coming to school every day. I loved learning. I really enjoyed all my teachers and all the activities that I did here as a student, and I have lots of really, really good memories. So when I was given the opportunity to have a job here, I jumped on it. And funny enough, a lot of my teachers that taught me as a primary school student were still here when I came back as a teacher, and I actually got to work alongside many of them. So my prep teacher ended up next door to me when I started teaching prep, and we taught prep together for 5 or 6 years, which was quite a circle, but really a beautiful experience because I loved prep and I have so many memories of what we did together, and then I got to share teaching with her as well.
You're doing a really great job when we work as a team. I'd like to see how confident you guys are when you're on your own.
I've been exposed to some really great teachers that kind of changed my life. I kind of just realised that teaching is what I wanted to do. And I went, I really love this. This is what I like to do. This is actually what has that spark in me. I think education has the possibility to change the world. With a solid education, an individual can do whatever they wish. They can succeed in life. So when you provide a community or a school or a country with a really solid education, you're providing its citizens with the ability to then go forth and be successful. My family did not have a lot of money growing up. Having a good education allowed me to go to university and allowed me to basically pick what I wanted to do with my life. There was no limits on what I decided to do with my career and my future. Giving back to me is giving my students that same opportunity. It's so rewarding to come back and make a difference and know that I received a quality education and now I can give a quality education to others.
What wonderful manners. So that you can show the groups. Well done, darling. I was born in Australia and my parents came to Australia in 1993 from Serbia.
We came here with 2 suitcases and parents didn't speak a word of English. Unfortunately, we weren't exposed to the language either growing up, so regardless of the fact that I was born in Australia, attending school, I had no English. I actually attended the EAL program here, which makes me really understand the children who don't speak a word of English. I can connect to them, I can relate to them and understand them. I attended Dandenong North Primary School from prep to grade 6 and I loved every minute of it. It was so wonderful. I had the best experiences growing up. I remember every single one of my teachers, apart from one of them, and I thought about this the other day and I thought, why can I not remember who my grade 1 teacher was? And I did the maths, looked at the years, and it was because that year my parents had sent us to live in Serbia for a year with my grandma when my grandpa had passed away. Unfortunately, that year was when the NATO bombings occurred, and so I have a vivid memory of that as opposed to my grade 1 schooling in Dandenong North. So I remember we were going to bed one night. It was my grandma, my sister and I, and the sirens just started going off and they were announcing bombings in X amount of time. And she just said, girls, go and grab what you need and we're going underground. Then it was just the process of getting out of Serbia safely, and yeah, it was just a roller coaster of emotions and yeah, vivid memories of how it all went down.
2 groups of 9.
18.
2 groups of 10.
20.
2 groups of 11.
22.
Some of the children that attend this school come from war-torn countries. So, you know, I do relate and I can understand how they must be feeling because I was one of those children. The way my teachers helped me were they instilled values within me and they also taught me the language. I believe what you put out in life is what you're going to receive. I was so blessed to have such wonderful teachers who believed in me. And I think that if I can make a difference in only one child's life, I'm going to be one extremely happy teacher.
You've got
Some say I'm too wide.
1 and 4. So adding is when
Some say I'm
two
too
numbers. I like that.
I came from a war-torn country, a little country in Europe called Bosnia. My family and I, fled to New Zealand. That's basically where I spent most of my childhood. I remember it was difficult because they didn't have those programs that we have here. They didn't have EAL. I don't remember EAL. I don't remember, the reading room. I remember finding it difficult to, pick up the language and pick up all these different skills because I didn't quite fit in. The kids around me, they knew their sounds. They knew how to speak really well. They were articulate, and here I was essentially a refugee that had to adapt without the support, I guess, that we provide here. The Bosnian community in New Zealand was quite small. There might have been 10 households altogether. My parents felt that, it was a beautiful country, but the opportunities there, were limited, and they wanted to feel part of a bigger community. They wanted to feel like they were back home. They really missed home. So we came to Australia in the year 99. I attended school here in year 5 and 6. I remember coming to DNPS and I just remember loving school. I remember coming here and having so much fun day in and day out. I remember feeling safe after everything that we'd been through and moving houses and countries and all that sort of stuff. And it was just, I felt like it was the best place. It was better than home some days. It was my special place back then. I remember a lot of my teachers throughout my schooling, and I always saw them as these people that had the answers to everything. They were so smart. Sometimes they were even smarter than my parents, and I just thought so highly of them. So I remember thinking at a very young age, I want to be a teacher. I want to know everything. When I finished teaching, I've always wanted to come back to my special place. I remember it in this, in this amazing light. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else. I had to come back here, at least try to come back here.
You're going to have to put the dots on the domino together.
Okay? When you put them together, the answer has to be one of those numbers.
I give back what was given to me. I give back the happy moments. I give back all the love that was given to me. I give back the conversations. I give back the relationships. Every little thing that helped you along the way, that took away from that struggle, from that feeling of being lost. Another reason why I've come back, I want to make sure that the kids that are coming through the doors at this time, I need to make sure that that support is still there. Giving back really allows you to ensure that you don't forget who you are, and you don't forget where you've been, and you don't forget what it is that you owe to those others that have helped you become the person that you are.
So remember, the different states that we have can impact how we can recycle.
We migrated from Afghanistan to Iran, and in Iran we were not allowed to go to school. So I had no hope when I was little. I thought I would be nothing, nobody. I thought we had no future. At first, when my mom told us that we're moving to Australia, to a different country, I was very heartbroken. I didn't want to leave my cousins and our neighbors and the little friends that we had. But mom has convinced us by saying, you can go to school. I don't have to worry about your safety. I don't have to worry about anything else, and that's the most important thing. You can make a difference in your life, in your children's life, and your children's life. We came to Australia, and that's when I started thinking, I can't speak English. Is there a hope for me? I can't read and write, so what's the point? I'm not gonna have a career, I have no future. And then we came to Dandenong North Primary School. Things changed. Attending the EL classes and the help and the support that we received from everyone, it was amazing that within a year, I was thinking of what I want to be in the future. To go from I'm a nobody and I'm gonna stay a nobody to somebody, a little girl sitting there thinking, I have options, I can be anything. Schooling wise, my mom was very stressed. She's like, I can't get them uniform. I can't get them school bag and lunch. And I remember us when we came in, Jenny McLaughlin, she handed us uniform, school bag, lunchbox, socks, shoes, and pens and paper and everything that we needed to attend school. My mom was very grateful, and I still remember, she was like, thank goodness we moved here. Thank goodness that you guys come to this school and I don't have to worry about the most basic things that is needed for a child to attend the school. Now that I'm a teacher at Dandenong North Primary School, every day coming in, helping the students, and sometimes one of the students turning around, like, thank you, Mrs. Adi, for helping me. That was very confusing. That warms my heart. And I'm like, oh wow, I made a difference to that child like they did when I was young.
Oh, look at you all. Let's go.
Have fun.
Thank you.
And it takes me back to when I was in one of these EAL rooms, sitting down and thinking, wow, I can read and write.
Do you know who this is? Miss Rosie. This is Miss Rosie when she was very young. But she used to come and take me the way she takes Khatim and them. And she took me to a special room where she taught me how to speak and write. Remember I tell you guys every morning that when I was your age, I couldn't read and write?
Giving back for me is helping the community overall, the little citizens that are going to be the future, grow and become intelligent little humans. Giving back to me means I feel like I didn't just take, now I'm actually giving back. I'm useful in the society that helped shape who I am today.
Grew up in Dandenong until I was about 13. Attended DMPS from all through my primary years, so from prep to grade 6 I was here the whole time. And everyone always tells you when you're at primary school that primary school, it's the best years of your life when you're obviously an adult and you look back, and they are. There's some of your most favourite memories are from primary school, And who wouldn't want to be a part of that when you're older and if you get the opportunity as a teacher to relive your primary school days, of course you're going to take that opportunity. You know, it's just the best, really. I loved the idea of working with kids and I just loved being around them, and for some reason they gravitated to me, so I was sort of like, well, maybe I should do teaching. When I came back here as a teacher, I started here in 2005 and I finished up in 2017, so I was here for 12 years. Broke my heart when I left. Like, if I could pick up this whole school and move it to where I live now, I would. I just love the culture. Like, that's the number one thing of any school. You know, you can feel it as soon as you walk through the doors, whether a school has a good culture or not. And I think that all through like my time as a primary school student, and I came back here and did work experience in Year 10, and then as a teacher later on, the culture has always been the same. It's always had that real family friendly vibe, and you always felt safe here. It was like it was home. Like, I still remember my last day when I left. Like, I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. It was hard leaving it behind because it's been such a big part of my life for so long. Oh, I am getting emotional. I truly believe that I probably wouldn't be the teacher that I am today if I didn't work here. So I'm so grateful that I was able to come back. I'm so grateful that Kevin and Jenny offered me the position. I think once you come here, you feel like you're part of the family, and I definitely feel like I'm part of the family because I want to give back to the students what I received as a student as well, and I think that helps with creating a better community and a better world as well, because I was fortunate enough to have great teachers in my life. I want to make sure that I can do that for them as well.
As a student growing up, I always wanted to be a teacher. I love the teachers that I had here, and it's what I aspired to be. Once I graduated, I decided to do a bit of CRT work, and I got the phone call to come to Dandenong North. And I just remember walking in and going through those same buildings and then seeing Kevin. It felt like coming home.
What do we need to put a dependent and independent clause together?
Dandenong North is just one big family. That's what it was like back then. As a kid, that's how it felt like. And even now, when I came back, being part of that family, and I'm grateful and thankful that I am a teacher here.
With one of these conjunctions, you must always have a comma.
I think because of the relationships and the connectedness that they have with the school is a reason why so many of us come back and start our teaching careers here. Living on the other side of the city, I could be teaching closer to home and it will make my life a lot easier, but I just knew that this was the place for me to be at, going full circle, I guess, and coming home. I think you need to provide others with the opportunities that you had in life, especially here in Dandenong, being such a low socioeconomic community, that we need to make sure that we give back to them, to make sure that they are given the opportunities to succeed in everything that they want to do in their life.
Dandenong North is a great school. Dandenong North is a great school. Principals, teachers, parents, children agree. Dandenong North is...
I've been here for so many years and I'm still here because you do feel the good vibes and you do feel the positivity of all the staff. I like being in the office and I like having that operation, and I love being behind the scenes and making sure everything's sort of in place for Kevin to take charge, or just being behind that idea and making that work. To come back to Dandenong North and to work in a safe environment and a positive environment and someone that you can rely on, I think that's why you'd stay. I'm giving back as that support person for the principals, just to be there for them, and if they do need help, I'm ready to go, like I can do it, you know.
I actually got a job as the crossing supervisor, and they actually sent me to this school. And it was lucky that I came back to my old school. and they said, Kerry, do you want a job? And from then, I also helped in the classroom after my crossings duties. So I ended up at DMPS working in the reading room. Just a helping hand to bring them up to level where they should be. It is rewarding, very rewarding, because you see them come in a pram with their other siblings, and the next couple of years you see the one that was in the pram going to school, and 6 years later they're going to high school, and you wave them goodbye. That you see them in the street and they've all grown up and they've got jobs and they're very happy. It's very rewarding.
Started here in grade 1. I think coming in, I was really nervous because I didn't know anybody, I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I had a really great grade 1 teacher. It was easy to make friends. Everybody was very open and they welcome you with open arms. Josie in the office, she's been here since I was little. She's always taking care of me. She always tells me how she remembers me as a baby even, so I think that's really special. The integrity as a school has always stayed the same. Their values and their beliefs have always carried on. Great community and the support that you've got has stayed the same. I think just all the support that I can give children and show that they can grow and develop in so many different areas is something really, really that I hold really close to my heart. So I think it was very fundamental in how I grew up and formed my own knowledge and stuff like that. I want to give that to every kid that I can.
So the peer activity program aims to boost social skills among students while they're outside in the yard. And it also aims to help students develop the skills they need to make friends and to join a group of people they'd like to play with. They might not have the language or the ability to do that. The other aim obviously is to boost children's awareness of physical activity and body movement and overall physical health.
I wanted to become a power leader because it's really fun to see the kids smile and see the kids happy.
Helping kids, become fit and, enjoy playing outside, just makes me happy.
It made me happy because you can help new skills for kids, like if they don't know something, you can teach them.
I wanted to be in PAL because I wanted to lighten up children's smiles and spread happiness.
I actually feel good that I'm a PAL because I'm actually helping other people to actually achieve something good.
My leader is Miss Tresnjic. I feel really inspired by her because she's helped us, become PAL leaders.
She's really kind and amazing. She inspired us how to be a great PAL leader.
Working with the grade 6s, I'm able to give them insight into socialising, building better relationships, and they've taken my advice and what they've learnt from me on board, and I see them using it with the juniors. They are mediating with them, talking to them about, proper behaviours. Do you want to play nicely? Do you want to make friends? So they're actually taking that knowledge and imparting it back into the school.
It's important for me to give back kindness. I've seen a lot of videos that say pay it forward, so I'm going to be paying back my happiness and smile to other kids.
Having a PAL leader someone to play with, it reminds me of when I was younger and I used to, be alone and I used to play by myself. Giving it back to them, that showing them that I was like them when I was younger and I had someone older playing with me.
I like giving back to them because I was in grade 3, I didn't have any friends, and so I met some new friends, and some are with me in PAL now.
I can really see the process of this program and the process of me leading it coming full circle from when I was a child and I wanted to make friends and I wanted to be important to somebody, to becoming a peer mediator, to becoming a teacher, to taking on this new program even and working with the 6s, giving them those skills as well so they can come back and work with younger children and new groups of people. Hopefully take these skills with them to high school and whatever social interactions they're a part of, they're taking it with them too. So I wouldn't say it started with me, but I would say I'm part of an endless cycle of self-development, developing better ways to build relationships and coexist with other people, and then giving that back to the children.
So many of our teachers and the principal here, Kevin, they've helped us a lot. We moved from Afghanistan to Pakistan when we were very young.
Life was really hard there, and because of Taliban and everything, the fight, our lives were in danger.
Never really felt acceptance, no matter where you were. So once you come to Pakistan, we had this little town, we call it Mariabad. It's the only place where you've got your own people, a bunch of Hazaras, and it's a little border though. You can't go outside that area. The minute you do, you're in danger. That's how I've lost a lot of family, through target killing.
Because the situation got so bad and we had to leave, so my husband left the country before us, and we had no idea where was he going, and at that time I was really worried, will I see him again or not?
I felt like that was the hardest moment for us, because there were days where we would have nothing to eat. There were days where my mum would just cry her eyes out but wouldn't tell us what's going on. But she just tried to make sure that, we're getting everything.
I was only 2, Sobi was 4, I think. So we didn't have a father figure for a really long time, which is why I was very close to my grandfather. He was my father figure.
Such a hard time and a hard life, and my children were everything to me, because when my husband left the country, we were not sure if we can see him again or not. I still feel that pain, and I didn't want him to go away.
I remember just having that one jacket that Dad left behind. I would hug it, and that was the only way I would go to sleep, because I just smelled his fragrance.
After 3 years, we heard that he was in a safe place called Australia. Then he tried to organize things for the whole family to come here, and in 2005 we came in. The feeling was like, yes, we are now able to live with each other.
Leaving our family behind and coming here, that was really hard.
Coming to Australia, the struggle was not having your family, not knowing if they're safe, not knowing any of that, honestly. Even sitting right now, I'm not 100% sure if back home everyone's safe. You just don't know.
We migrated from there just so we can have a better future here. But, part of us is always there. You're always thinking about them. You're always worried about, what's going to happen to them.
We recently lost a cousin in a target killing, and the last time I saw him was this bubbly guy laughing and teasing me, and the next time I go, I'm literally standing in front of his grave. So it was very hard.
Australia was a completely new world for me. I didn't know it existed. So when I came here, seeing all these new people and new language and new cultural, it was really difficult for us.
This life was very new. When I think about those days, I felt like a newborn baby. I was thinking I have to now learn how to walk, how to talk, how to understand my surroundings.
Not being able to communicate was really hard. Not being able to tell others how you're feeling was really hard. And you could just literally just stare at them and just think that, they would understand. And you know what? Teachers at Dandenong North did understand, just by looking at you and just giving you those hugs and making sure that you're okay every day, and you're happy being at school, and making sure that they make a safe environment for us.
Thankfully, we had DNPS welcoming us and saying, yep, this is home. Had Kevin welcoming us, the staff, the teachers, and everyone. I still remember when, of course, coming here, you missed your family, and I would find a little bit of my grandpa's appearance in Kevin, that height and the way he would speak, and I would always just be like, oh look, there's grandpa, and I would run and hug him, and I remember his hugs were as warm as my grandpa, and I'd always tell Sorbia, remember when Kevin, we used to run and hug him? He would really give that vibe of my grandfather.
DNPS really helped us overcome those struggles. They made sure that we're not just students here. They were more like a family for us. We even referred to a couple of our teachers as our mums because they were actually looking after us like our mums.
They helped me in every single way. From learning my very first English alphabet, from learning my very first sentence. I went to the park on the weekend, something very small. They shaped me from the very basic. They built my foundation. Honestly, it is for Dandenong North Primary School that made me who I am today. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have believed in myself as much as I do today, because my foundation at DNPS was strong. Everyone believed in you. They knew you could go to high school and really succeed.
I've always wanted to become a psychologist. I was always fascinated by human behaviour and why we act the way we do. My parents' expectations of me was just basically to get educated and become an independent individual. So they didn't really, put that pressure on me that you need to become this, you need to become that, and we expect this from you. They just wanted us to get educated because we didn't have that when we were back home.
When I came here, I thought I was like queen of my own world. I was like, no one tell me what to do. I want to study. I want to study for as long as I can. And I really did, like going from primary school straight to high school and then going straight to a 2-year degree of like health science and then going to a 4-year degree of dermal science. It was just a continuous thing, and I love that my mum, worked here as well. So her mind was quite open to the environment here, the culture here. She understood that, there wasn't just one pathway for girls, there was plenty.
My role is working as a multicultural aide, helping families with interpreting, filling in forms, helping kids in the classroom with reading, writing, and many other things.
So my role at DNPS is working as a student welfare coordinator, and I'm working with all the vulnerable students that are going through hardships and just being there for them and listening to their difficulties and helping them overcome and making their journey smoother in primary school.
Full-time I do skin therapist. I'm a skin therapist and a clinician. But I still remember my first interview and I'm saying, look, I'm going to work 3 days of this in the clinic, but there has to be a day out where I'm going to go back to my primary school and work there. It's a way of giving back. Just generally asking Kevin, is there anything you want me to do? Just trying to take that little stress off his shoulder. And every single day when you finish work and you walk out, he goes, thank you for today. Even if it's the slightest, smallest change that you've made, he goes, I really appreciate what you did today. And I think that's the most beautiful part of it.
I am who I am because of Dandenong North, and I'm proud that I'm able to give back to Dandenong North, and all the stuff that they gave me, I am able to do the same thing for them. This is why I wanted to come back and work here. I love the environment, I love the teachers. I love Kevin and Jenny, like they make this school the best school. So that's why I wanted to work here.
I'm very grateful and I'm thankful, and the school has given us a lot. The education, the facilities, everything now. This is, I think, the time we should give back. We should help our own community, our own society where we live, to make this country a better place for everyone to come and live in peace.
Thank you to Danny North, the principal, the staff, the teachers. Really thank them for making me who I am. Everyone knows how welcoming the school is. Everyone knows how good the school is. Like, I don't even have to explain myself. I'm just like, I work at Danny North, and they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky. I'm like, yep, it's a proud moment for me.
The dust of Mars and the taste of loss. Grey coast.
For me, schooling wasn't particularly successful in many ways. I had a difficult childhood, and often I was moved from school to school every single year. And I remember a particular phys ed teacher. I had misbehaved and was about to be expelled, going into the principal and arguing they couldn't afford to lose me. And so I stayed at school, and every morning at 7:30 I reported to her, and she went through my homework with me before I started school, and she did that for me for a year. And eventually did my VCE, or HSC it was in those days, finished my HSC and went straight into Teachers College. But without her doing that, my future might be sliding doors, quite different to how it is now. So you've got to pay that one back. So That idea that one human being can be a champion for another, I thought that's who I want to be. I want to be the champion for the kid that needs a champion. More than 80% of children who've been expelled end up in juvenile justice if a home is not found for them. So it's frightening. I've never expelled a child from my school. I've never suspended a child. Their punishment is to spend the day with me.
My primary school teacher, I just loved her enthusiasm. I loved that she loved us, and we knew she loved us. It was back in the 60s, and you didn't have many resources in your classroom, and we didn't have a library. I loved reading. We didn't, the school had very basic curriculum delivery. And every week, honestly, she would buy us books. We had the most amazing classroom library, and she bought them out of her own money. And I would just sit with excitement. It was always on a Monday morning. She'd come in with new books that she'd bought us so that, if we'd finished our work, we could go and explore these new books. And she loved reading. So I just became an avid reader. I remembered a lot of the things that she did, and when I had my first class, I copied what she did all those years later.
I remember I loved when the assistant principal, Jenny McKay, would come into our classrooms and she would take us for a session. And she had the most mind-blowing cognitive games and literacy games that we would take part in, and it would just expose me to a whole new way of thinking about words and literacy. So that was a very fond memory, and whenever I teach literacy, I always think about all the possibilities that words have, and I try to inspire that within my own students.
So this probably goes back to year 12. I was doing economics in year 12 and my score wasn't the greatest, and I had a teacher in year 12, Mr. Purcell his name was, and he got myself and probably about 10 or 12 other students. He pulled us aside and he said that you need a bit of extra assistance to get through this subject, and he took us to his house between 1 and 5 o'clock every Saturday afternoon and basically retaught the syllabus to us. And that showed me he had a young family. He didn't need to do that, but he went above and beyond. So he made sure I got a good economics result, basically, which helped me to become a teacher who I am today. So he was the person that showed me that actually if you actually put a bit of time into students, like he did to me, you pay back, you get so much in return. He gave me the insight, I thought, what it was to be a good teacher, just through listening, through helping and being there for me. So I think that's what, for me, made me choose teaching in the end, because I wouldn't have got to where I got unless it was for him, probably.
I had Mr. Hilton in grade 6. He was my grade 6 teacher, and I just remember him, he was so approachable. He was there whenever you needed something, if there's something bothering you, you could just go to him and have a chat about whatever it was. I give back what was given to me, these values of trust and communication. It's amazing. It makes a world of difference for them. If they're feeling under the weather, or you will be there to make them feel better. You'll be there to provide, a shoulder to lean on, or to make them feel at home, to make them feel as if they are with their own family. If you've got that really close connection with them, the learning will just come so easily.
But I had a teacher, and he's now a principal at a secondary school, and his name was David Leslie, and he was somebody who challenged me. So we didn't always get along in the early days, but I really grew to love the fact that he expected more of me at a time when I didn't expect enough of myself. I saw something in me that I certainly didn't see in myself, and he watered whatever seed it was that he saw, and the biggest outcome for me was that I got to a point where I realised I actually I could do things, and I had more ability than I maybe gave myself credit for. And he did that for me, and continued to be a mentor, whether he knew that or not, throughout my adult life.
As a kid, I had what's called a fixed mindset. Now I realise I didn't know what it was then. But I just thought whatever capacity or ability you had as a kid was fixed. You were either smart or not smart, and I thought I was not smart. I went to a technical school after primary school because my results were pretty poor, and it was thought that I would be better with my hands than with my brain. The principal of Brighton Tech, he drew me aside one day and he said, you've been mucking around a bit and it looks like you're going nowhere. What do you want to do with your life? And being a smart ass, I thought that the most impossible thing that I could be would be a teacher, because I hadn't been able to benefit all that much from teachers that I'd had. So I said, I want to be a teacher. And he said, well, if you knuckle down and work hard this year, I will make sure that you get into teachers college. So I took him at his word, and I did work hard and stopped mucking around. And he did get me into teachers college, because without that, I wouldn't be here today. I only ever spoke to the man probably twice in 5 years, but those conversations, or one of those conversations, changed the trajectory of my life.
Working with Kev, and he was the same as a principal. I remember times when I was a student and I'd go to him with a plan. I said, I want to do this. He'll go, yep, sounds good. You can do it. And oh, okay. And I don't know, that just made my day as a student. And then as a teacher, when I'd go to him with the plan, he'd say, yep, do it. And it just never had a doubt in his mind that it wasn't going to work. He has high expectations for everyone, and everyone lives up to them because he just has that faith and that trust in you. And having that sort of culture and within the school has made it what it is, because just that faith and that trust that they have in you really makes a big difference, I think. I try and do that with my kids now. Like if they've got something they're really passionate about, well, I showed that faith and trust in them that I was shown from my teachers. There is nothing more powerful in this world in terms of transformation than a group of people who are truly committed to a particular cause.
Teachers have the power to mould children into the human beings that they become one day as adults.
And education, its main target in life, is to make life equal. And I think that if we understand that our task is that no matter what a child presents us with, our task is to make them powerful within the world that they live.
We're such a supportive school where every child is given what they need to succeed. If they need extra help, then we're able to provide them with extra help so that they can be successful in their schooling.
I am most proud of the fact that at DNPS we change children's lives. We let them be happy. We let them find joy and success. I'm proud that I get to be that person for them when I needed that person to be there for me.
In the end, we'll give them a successful life because they can go on ahead and do whatever it is that they are passionate about and they dream to do.
Giving back means many things. It means giving back to my school that gave me so much. It means giving back to my community by helping young people come into the community capable and confident. It means giving back to humanity.
If we don't give back, we're never going to grow. Both the people that we are giving back and ourselves. I grow each day when I'm giving, when I'm teaching, I'm learning, but my students are learning as well. They're growing to be wiser.
Setting the standard for what you want the world to look like and giving that ability for others to do the same.
Who wouldn't be proud of being able to do that for another human being? And if you can do it for one, if you can do it for 760 plus 130 staff, you've got to be proud of that. That's what I'm proud of.
I definitely think that a lot of ex-students have returned because their teachers made an impact in their lives, so they wanted to give back to the community.
And I think it's so true what Kevin said. He's like, well, why wouldn't I want to hire them? I've had a part in their education. I know what values they have. Of course I want them back at my school. And I thought, well, yeah, that's true, isn't it?
I think we all come back here to teach because this was a great place to learn. We all have fond memories of our time here at Dandenong North as a student. So when we're given the opportunity to come back as teachers, we jump on it.
I think it's all got to do with Kevin and the school that Kevin built. Kevin became principal here in 1986 when I was in grade 1. And to this day, I still remember walking through the playground with mum or dad. And yes, Kevin was the principal, but he wasn't that principal locked away in an office. He was always out and about, and he knew us. He knew the kids, he knew the families, and it was all about the community spirit, I guess, that Kevin has built up at our school.
The vibe here and who we are, what we were back then, you know, when I was here in the 90s, and what we are now, it's still exactly the same, you know. It's still that safe and happy place. This place is so special, and I never want it to change.
Dandenong North is a very successful school because what tends to happen here is that we just know what children need because we've had a leader in Kevin McKay's been here a long time, and he's well respected and he knows what goes on within our school to ensure that every child feels special, they feel cared for.
Anytime we'd see him around the school, students would get excited, I would get excited. I still have that way of talking about him with my students. If I'm trying to motivate them to create an amazing finished product, I say, oh, if it's amazing, we can show Mr. McKay and he'll be so proud. So that comes from how I felt about him as a student as well.
If you walk through the playground, Kevin says hello to every child, you know, gives them a cuddle, gives them a high five. And I think that leadership of being able, that nothing is too much, that the door's always open for every teacher to come in and have a chat, which makes our school pretty special.
I think a great school is a part of its community. And I think a great school is one that is very connected to its student base, and DMPS is certainly that. I think a great school is also a great advocate, and I've got to say DMPS is certainly that.
My hopes and aspirations for the children that go through this schooling is for them reaching their potential and be highly effective contributors within the society that they've chosen to live in, and be self-fulfilled, and to be great parents themselves and bring up well-functioning families, children, and that they can give back.
A big thank you to Dandenong North Primary School for its advocacy around forming better educational environments, better educational programming. The influence that this school has had on our broader education network should never be understated. It's not something that's always visible, I know, to school communities, but Kevin, Jenny and the team are leaders in this state. The sort of work that we've seen happen here has been world leading. And we are so very lucky to have a school like DMPS in Victoria, and I'm very lucky to have it in my own constituency. But the sort of work that's done here and that holistic view of what education is and the empowering ability of it, I think is going to serve our education system well into the future, and I think it's going to be something that years from now people are looking back on and using as a foundation for all sorts of growth and development in our education system as a whole, and that's all born out of the passion of a team here that really believes in what they do.
In primary school, you get to be one of the first teachers in their life that set their attitude towards learning in school and give them all those foundational blocks that they need, the reading, the writing, the maths, the sense of community and social interaction, and if you get it right, you've set them up to be successful for the rest of their lives. And it's a very rewarding thing to think about.
As Leela Cocker said, you know, those of us who could would aspire to be teachers, and the rest of us would be left to do whatever was left over, because teaching is the most important job in the world, because it passes on civilisation from one generation to the next. And that's what the people here at this school do. You know, that's the difference. What inspires me is seeing kids who are happy at what they do, having a great time, because childhood is a very special time and should be the best time in their lives. If we can make it even that much better, then that's something that improves their lives, and when they have children, they would have that expectation of their children, so giving back actually flows on beyond that too. But happy children are children who learn. And if I can be part of something that makes 760 kids happy every day, then that makes me happy. That's why I'm here.
My ambition is to be like a teacher for scientists. My last year teacher for grade 5 was Mrs. Hilton, and she'd always say, when you're successful, you have to pass the knowledge down so that other people can follow your lead to become successful.
My teacher actually, she really inspires me so much, and I actually dreamed of becoming just like her and teaching kids and always smiles and laughs. I just love that. It just gives me an inspiration to become a happy teacher like her.
I really want to be a teacher when I grow up because you can pass on what you have learned to help students go on with their life and make their life easier and better, and to teach them things, which I think is amazing that they can do themselves, a skill that they can pass on generation by generation to children.
Giving back is like a cycle. If someone does something good to you, you have to pass it on. So I would really love to teach my students the way that my teachers taught me.
When I graduate from university, I want to come to this school and give back what the teachers gave me.
Definitely DNPS, because you'd see all these familiar faces of teachers, because there's always going to be one or two that are going to stay at this beautiful school.
I love Dandenong North Primary School because it's so accepting and supportive of what you want to be when you grow up. If I had to pick the best school out of the whole world, I'd say it would be this school, because at this school not only do we like the teachers educate people like at the top and the best, but also that they have like a perfect environment for every student. Education is extremely important because it can guide you through life and help you decide what you want to be when you grow up.
School is very important, and education itself, because if you don't have education, then you won't get that far in life.
If you have a good education, you get a good career. A good career means good life.
Thank you to my teachers who brought me here, and this is my last year of being in the school. I will come to this school again.
I'd like to say thank you to my school, and I'll never forget what they did for me ever since I came.